Welcome back to the Tiger Suite. I'm your host, Anna, and I'm here with a really special guest. Please introduce yourself. Let us get a feel for you.
Hey everyone, my name is Selena. My family calls me Selena.
Oh, I love
Yes,
it.
yes. Yeah, I'm here today as the guest. Super excited to be
I'm
here. Thank you
so
so much for having
excited.
me.
Okay, Selena. So,
Yeah.
thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
Are you Hispanic?
Yeah, I
Okay, okay.
am.
Okay, are you
Mhm.
Mexican? Is
I
that what you
am
are?
Mexican.
Period. Okay. And I love asking people when they come on because you're
Mhm.
in my Tiger Suite. This is like
Yeah,
my space.
of course.
What does your Tiger Suite look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that's a tough one. I would say I have two completely different tiger suites.
Okay.
So one would be definitely my bathroom. I have like a spa type of bathroom, and that is
Girl.
like at the end of like a long day, like coming to my bathroom, taking a bath, bubble bath with like a nice poppy. Ugh,
Oh my gosh. That is like
with
the
candles
bet
lit.
with the
It's
little
like
girl dinner.
yes.
Yes.
That is like to die for, but also like um my other one would be like just being in the gym and just getting that like euphoria feeling where you just get lost in your workout and you feel
Yes.
like invincible. I feel like that's also like
I
kind of like
love
two
that.
different versions of my tiger suite.
Girl, I completely the gym and like people say that all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
anyone will tell you, like, girl, I have to go to the gym. Like I have rage.
Yeah.
I have started going on walks since it's gotten a little bit warmer. I take like my
Mm-hmm.
little dog and we
Love it.
literally go out there and it's been the best time because I don't know, you're pretty prevalent in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're a Pilates instructor and everything.
Actually, I'm not a Pilates
Oh, you're
instructor.
not.
I'm hoping to become one soon. But I have like a lot of experience. I went
Yeah.
to school for like exercise science. I was like bit by that like fitness junkie in college, and so I ended up changing my major to exercise science, and then I went
Wow.
into like strength and conditioning and became like personal trainer, and I trained athletes. I did like an internship at Harvard, Embry
Oh
Riddle.
my
And
gosh.
now I actually manage a rock climbing gym, which is a little bit of a pivot, but
But
still in the
still.
fitness industry. So,
Wow. And
yeah.
how deep in college were you? Like what year? What did you major in before you changed?
Yeah, so originally went in like all Hispanic families, like go for nursing, go for pre-med
Something
because
making
like
money.
yes, exactly. So I did that for like 2 years, and I vividly remember my sophomore year. I think it was like my second semester. I went into Orgo, took my Orgo final, walked out of that, went straight to my advisor's office, and was like, I hate this. I want to change my major. And that week
Wow.
I changed my major to exercise science. So
Wow, just like that.
yeah.
Did you have like previous to your exam and
Mhm.
coming to that realization with your
Yeah.
advisor, was that already a thought in the back of your head like I have to get out of this?
Um, I would say yeah, pretty much. Like I did it like freshman year and I just feel like biology didn't click to me like it did for other people. And I just loved being in the gym. That was like when I got bit by the like gym guru. I had just got out of a really bad relationship and I started going to the gym a lot.
Oh, that's the
And
best.
yeah, and so
It is.
that was like what I would do. I would like and we had like a really big rec center right across from my dorm, and so I just loved going to the gym and just being in that space. And then that's when I started like getting more interested in like training some of my friends and stuff like that. And then that was when once that Orgo final came, I was like, this is not for
Wow.
me. Like I just don't the passion isn't there, and that
I
was my
I know
realization.
exactly what you mean. When you decided to do that like shift,
Mhm.
was there a moment where your family like asked you like what are you doing?
Oh my gosh, all the time.
Oh
Imagine
no.
explaining to Mexican parents that my dad's super like traditional Mexican first generation, and my mom, she's like third generation, so she's a little bit more Americanized.
Seasoned.
Yeah. But explaining what exercise science is to them, they were like, "So
Oh
what are you
no.
gonna do? What is that? What do you do with that degree?" And I was like, well, I'm going to be like a coach or a trainer. And they were like, you're going to train people for the rest of your life. And so, um, there was definitely
Oh,
some
that's
confusion
hard.
and some like lack of like understanding on what the job is and like what the career paths were for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, how that's so much pressure, especially because there has been like times in my life where I'm maybe excited about a project or something I'm doing and I share
Mm-hmm.
it,
Yeah.
and like the enthusiasm isn't shared, so it kind
Yeah.
of like
It's a
it,
little
it
bumming
it
sometimes.
it bums you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now you manage a rock climbing gym.
Yeah.
How did that come about and how long have you been doing?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I October will be 3 years. So I started working at Omni,
Mhm.
and I worked at Parisi Speed School at Omni right here in Cherville.
Yes.
And they had gotten switched over to the YMCA. And so I
Oh
probably
no.
stayed with them for like 10 months. And I just realized like me and the Y had different values. And so,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's a great space. It's a great community. I think what they do for their community is awesome, but I just feel like there was not a lot of opportunities for growth for
Mm.
their staff, as well as like different values that we
Yeah.
shared.
The
So
alignment wasn't there.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So there was that, and in COVID, my now husband and I, at that time we were still dating, but we went on a date for like a rock climbing gym in Illinois
Yeah.
and Chicago, and so we did it. We tried it, and we got bit by the climbing bug, and so then
Stop.
we got like a punch pass to like FA Avondale, and then for my birthday that year, we went outdoor climbing, and then at that time I had like been looking for other jobs, and so I saw that they were opening this new gym in Chicago and they were going to be hiring, and so I
Oh my
applied there.
gosh.
Yeah.
I how like beautiful is it that like when you have a passion and then you
Mhm.
find like something that'll pay you for it. You
Yeah.
know? Like
A
wow.
100%. And that was like something that I feel like my parents really like instilled in me very young, is like get a job that you love because it'll never feel like you're working. And 100% it does feel like work. I'm not going to say it doesn't,
Yes.
but like I do something that if I did not work, I would still, if I like quit my job, I would still probably go to another gym and like do the same thing,
Right.
because I genuinely just like what I do so much.
It's just your thing.
It's just, yeah, I feel like it's a part of like who I am and my identity, which is so crazy because a lot of people nowadays are like, I don't really want to work, or like, especially
Girl.
like, no offense, but like a lot of women like love the idea of being their own boss, being entrepreneurs,
Yep.
like being a stay-at-home caregiver, which I totally empathize with and I definitely want that too. But my career is also something that I'm so tied in with because it's something I
Yes.
love so
It's like
much.
part of you. It's literally part of
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Whereas I think if I did something where I didn't enjoy it, I'm sure the idea of leaving that job would be so much easier for
Yeah,
me.
like see ya, I'm gonna move on kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm the same way, and I do think it sometimes it sucks, especially because I feel like our generation, like
Mhm.
we just kind of got the shit end of the stick when it comes to
Yeah.
working because
Mhm.
we're not getting paid enough to like live a livable wage by ourselves, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
I do think it causes like so much burnout.
Mhm.
And you've been in it for a while,
Yeah.
especially like since the pandemic or after the pandemic, it sounds like.
Yeah.
How do you manage, because you said it does feel like work,
Yeah.
like how do you manage still keeping that separation from like work and
Mhm.
love for what you do still?
Sure. So I will be super honest, I definitely don't climb as much as I used to. But I still have such a big passion for fitness. I think fitness goes in like I think they call it like fads where, different
Yeah.
things kind of had their peak and whatnot. And so right now I feel like the peak is Pilates, and
Oh
I've kind of
girl.
been on that Pilates kick where my job also does like Pilates classes. So like
Oh,
I do pop-up Pilates classes there. Like in the middle of my workday, I'll be like, oh, I'll go take a Pilates class. And
stop, that's amazing.
yeah, so like,
It's
and like
great.
it's encouraged because
Yeah.
then I get to interact with the instructors, I get to help out with things like that. And then kind of like leading into that, one thing that I really try to do is try a new like studio.
Oh, like a new Pilates studio.
Yeah, so I try to do at least like, I this year specifically, I said I was going to try to do 6 new studios throughout the year.
Wow.
So usually I try to like try a new spot out and just
See how it goes.
see how it goes. You get to try different instructors and it's so fun. It's so cute. It's so
Yeah. Are you
different.
doing
And
it in the city?
I do a little bit of both.
Okay.
So, I don't know. This year I've done like, I don't know, maybe 3, 4.
Okay. Wow,
And
so you're almost to your goal, and
yeah,
it's May.
I know because it's so fun, you know what I
Wow.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then I went to Hawaii just recently,
Oh, girl, I saw. I was
and
at Hawaii with you, girl. I
yeah,
was on vacation with
it was
you.
really cool. And like the crazy part is in Hawaii, I tried out a Pilates spot.
How was that?
It was interesting for sure. It
Okay.
wasn't like the best class I've ever done, but for me, it felt like going back to like what my tiger suite is like
Mhm.
being in a fitness space, being in a place where I can take care of myself and
Yeah.
like get that euphoria. That to me is vacation.
Yeah.
That is like my tiger suite
Yeah.
essentially.
100%.
And so I had went with my husband's family and they were like, "You're working out on vacation?" And I was like, "This is what I live
This is my
for."
vacation, girl.
Yeah, like I'm like, if I didn't work, I would literally do the same thing I do throughout the day, except maybe just not be at the gym for 8 hours.
Right, right. Oh my gosh. Was your Pilates class in Hawaii inside or outside?
It was inside. There was an outside one, but it was like at a different resort. Like I had ran past it and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, how do I join?" But I was like,
Oh
"Oh,
my
yeah,
gosh, that's so sick.
yeah."
Is was it just like a vacation that you guys decided to go, or do you guys have any ties to Hawaii?
Honestly, no ties to Hawaii. This year, my husband and I got married last year.
Wow, oh my god, you're fresh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we just got married in August.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so we're like brandly newlyweds.
Oh, I love
So,
that. I love it.
so this year our thing was we wanted to do a family trip with his family and then a family trip with my family, which we usually do like every few years. We kind of rotate. But this year our goal was to do both and hopefully to like try for a kid at the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay, so
so
you guys are just like, let's get it out of our system and then we
yeah,
can settle down kind of thing.
exactly.
How long have you guys been together before you got married?
Yeah, so we started dating in 2017.
Oh my, so you guys have almost 10 years.
Yeah, I know it's so crazy to think about. Like yeah, we started dating 2017 and then in the pandemic, I actually moved in with him and his family.
Wow.
Yeah,
Was it at the before the pandemic or the pandemic had already hit?
it was like March 1st. Like
Oh wow.
I was staying with my grandparents at the time and they were in Mexico because they're like snowbirds. And so
Yeah.
while they would go to Mexico, I would stay at their house for a few months.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well it was so convenient because like all the bills were paid and I
Yeah.
just paid for groceries.
That's
And
great.
yeah, you're kind of like being in their space, but it was just nice because nobody was there. But they were coming back from Mexico because my grandpa got really sick when he was out there,
No.
and the whole the whole world was shutting down, and they were like,
We gotta go.
yeah, they needed to come home, and then I was still working at that time and I was like, I'm gonna work. Like, what are you guys talking about? And my dad at the time was like, oh, well, like your grandpa's really sick. So if you're gonna be out and about, like, we don't want you to like get him any sicker than
You
he
can't be around
is.
him.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I'll stay at Mason's because he was living with his parents at the time too. I'll stay at their house for like 2-3 weeks until this passes over. And 3 years later,
Did
yeah.
they ever, because you said your parents are very traditional.
My dad a little bit. My family was not like my mom was not the happiest of me living with his family.
Were they like, what are you doing?
They
Why
were
are you?
just like, why? Why don't you just like my mom was like, why don't you just come home? But like me and my mom, we don't always like see eye to eye. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to like go live with you. And like
Yeah.
if they're letting me live with them, then I'll live with them for a few weeks. And then, a few weeks became a few years. And
Did
yeah,
they ever, like, when you, because you said it was supposed to be for 2 to 3 weeks, so it could all
yeah,
blow over.
yeah.
When you hit that time limit, were they like, hello, when are you coming home? Or did they stop? Like, was it just a one time thing where they brought it up?
For my family, I
Yeah.
think like my mom specifically, I think, would share her opinions that she felt like I shouldn't be living with them over the time of the 3 years. Um, but yeah, we kind of like had like an interesting relationship where I would hear her opinion, we would talk here and there, but not like consistently and not a lot where I would take her opinion too much to heart.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, got it. Wow, so 3 years. And
Yeah.
then did you guys decide like we're moving out? Like we're getting our own
Sure,
place?
sure, sure. So, we actually were looking at getting an apartment
Mhm.
and probably a year and a half into it, like a year and a half, because in that year, that was when I was working at Franciscan. Franciscan switched to the Y. From the Y, I got a
Oh my
new job. So
gosh.
it was like that whole transition of like
Huge
the pandemic,
transition.
my job being sold to another company, and then me leaving my job. So during that
Wow.
I know, it
That's a
was a lot. I
lot.
know. So, during that time, I wanted to get an apartment, and then when we looked at apartments, I was like, "This is actually insane.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom paying for an apartment, that's almost as much as a mortgage." And
Yeah.
so, I had said I really wanted us to get a house. I was like, "I think we should get a house. I think that would be really great. We have our own space. We have our own, just more land, a little bit
Yeah.
more
A house is
privacy."
just so different than an apartment. It just
Yeah,
is.
exactly. And
Wow.
yeah, so like it was a crazy transition. Like we were looking for houses, um, and we knew it was gonna be like a starter house, like nothing too big, like 2, 3 bedrooms max. We were looking for houses. In the middle of looking for houses, I got my job at the climbing gym. And then
Oh.
my first month in, I didn't even get my first paycheck from the job, and we put an offer in at this new spot.
That's just like faith. Like it'll work out.
It
Like
was less than a 30-day close. Yeah, like it worked out so well in our
oh,
favor.
that's amazing.
And it's so crazy now because like I couldn't even verify my employment at that time because I hadn't gotten
Holy
paid, you know?
shit.
So it was a whole crazy experience, but honestly, I feel like I'm so blessed that we were able to live with his parents because if we couldn't have lived with them and saved up money, I don't think we would be where we're at now.
Yeah, that is like such a beautiful story because it's an all in alignment. Like it
Yeah.
sounds like literally it's such it feels probably it probably felt like such a chaotic time in your life because so many things were happening. Like
Yeah.
you were like, "Can I catch a break?" Probably, yeah.
Literally.
And
Yeah.
it literally sounds like no, you were just putting it in alignment, girl. Like there was
Yeah.
better things in store for you. That's what
No,
it sounds like.
that the way you say it actually makes so much sense. Thinking about it, like at that moment, I was like, "This is insane. Is this supposed to happen?" But everything worked out so well, and I think you're
Oh
right.
my gosh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful. So you guys have been at that same house since then?
yeah. So that was in 2023, I think 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, 2023.
Not
So
very
we've been in
long
the
ago.
house for
Three
like three
years?
years. Yeah.
Wow. And how, because you guys have been together for a really long time, you
Mm-hmm.
have seen 10 years is a lot of versions of yourself. So
Yeah.
much changes in just five.
Mm-hmm.
How was the transition from moving from, with other people, right? You
Mm-hmm.
lived with your in laws
Yeah.
to moving from that to yourselves, like to your
Yeah.
own space. How was that transition in your
Well,
relationship?
girl, so his family is half Mexican and half Polish.
Oh
So
my gosh.
when I tell you they have a 3 bedroom house and there was like 10 of us in that
Of
house at one
course.
time,
Of
you know
course.
what I mean?
That sounds fun.
Like,
But it
so it was like his
doesn't.
mom, his dad, his brother, me, him, his grandma, his grandpa. Sometimes his uncle would sleep over. Like,
So it was a packed
it was a
house.
packed
Were you like,
house.
we gotta get out of here?
It
Like,
was, I mean, it was nice, because I always felt like there was people over. But it was also nice because I also wanted like our own privacy. I also wanted the ability to like, just like kind of be in like my element.
yeah, yeah,
I think being in the house, there wasn't like a ton of transition. I guess from my perspective, it didn't feel hard. I think from his perspective, it was like very eye-opening.
wow,
Yeah, because I would say like, "Oh, I like really just want to be in my own space and I want to be in my own space." And
yeah.
then when we got the house, like I feel like I almost like flourished in my femininity, right? That's what
Oh,
you say?
yes, yes, of
Yeah.
course,
And
yes.
so like, at his house, I didn't really cook a lot because his dad would do most of the cooking and he would cook for everybody and
Yeah.
like do most of the cleaning. And so now at our house, like I would like wake up in the morning and make us breakfast and like make,
Oh my
desserts and like
gosh, it was
I'm,
yours.
yeah, so like I was like always in the kitchen where he was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're making all this food and the food is so good." And like,
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. So it was definitely interesting because I feel like when we lived in the with his parents, we lived in the basement and he was always like, I feel like you're never gonna cook and when we move out and like now I'm like the main one who
Of
does all the cooking.
course.
You know
Do
what I
you
mean?
think he was just like, what is this gonna look like?
I think that he just he's really connected to his family.
Of
His
course. It's a huge
family,
family, it sounds like.
yeah, a huge family, and his brother had like an accident
Hmm.
in high school, college-ish
Yeah.
area. And so I think it just brought his family really close together. So I think just he never like went away to college. He really just lived at home his whole time. And
So he
so
was really tied to his
yeah,
family.
it was really hard for him. Um, and so I think it was just like a learning moment for him.
So that transition, it sounds like it was a good transition for you. Like you were like, I love this.
Yeah.
But guys are very different. And
Mhm.
I asked like what the transition was like for him leaving.
Yeah.
His family's still around here, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
we're gonna go see them tonight.
oh,
So
period. He's okay, girl.
I'm like,
But,
don't
oh
worry.
my gosh, I wonder what
Yeah.
that transition is for him because when
Mhm.
I moved here
Mhm.
from Arizona, I had moved out of my parents' house for college,
Yeah.
but it was like 30, 45 minutes away. So I was never
Sure.
really far, but I was
Uh-huh.
outside of their house already.
Yeah.
But my husband Peyton, he
Mhm.
had never been out of his family. Well, he did actually. He moved out with his brother for maybe a
Mhm.
couple months and then moved back in.
Yeah.
But he had never been away from his family.
Mhm.
And when we moved here,
Mhm.
my dad told me. My dad and I, we have an interesting relationship.
Okay.
We're not like on we don't have beef, but we're not very like
Close
close. We're
necessarily,
very
sure.
surface level, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
So for him to say something like that, I was like, whoa, where's that coming from?
Mhm.
He was like, just so you know, when you guys leave, he is going to struggle
Mhm.
because he's leaving his family for the first time. Like, please give him some grace.
Sure.
And it kind of like made me be like, oh, I didn't even think of that. But
Yeah.
like, thank you. And it
Yeah.
was so true. Like,
Mhm.
we moved in with a friend here, but he had nobody. Like, we had
Mhm.
each other in that
Yeah.
transition. And we were moving from his parents' house. So it was the
Yeah.
first time we were kind of living in our own space kind of thing.
Mhm.
And there weren't like horrible obstacles, but there were points in time where he was going through a lot because he couldn't go hang out with his friends anymore
Yeah.
or go see his mom. So
Mhm.
how was that transition for him, like in a new space outside of his
Yeah.
house?
I think like maybe like getting used to not seeing his parents every day was a little bit of a transition, you know what I mean? Like
Really?
I think the frequency in which he went over, I think was something that he had to like get used to, you know. Um but I think it was easier for him just because I think he kind of like it was I think the idea of it maybe like that first week or so moving out and that first week or two being in the house. But then like after a month, I feel like he got pretty settled. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? To just see kind of like our new dynamic, being able to have his friends over, you know, kind of do their own
It's his
thing.
space now
Yeah, you know, because
too.
I think we had just like outgrown the space at his parents' house.
It happened, especially
Yeah.
with so many people in a
Yeah.
relationship. You do hit that point where like, okay, we do need our own space.
Exactly.
Wow, so 3 years by yourself.
Yeah.
Did you already know like you're my guy, like we're getting married?
Yeah,
Like,
I think like he said he knew like a month after us dating.
oh,
And my friends say that I told them like within the first 6 months too. I actually don't remember telling them,
yeah.
but
You're like,
I'm like,
okay,
oh,
thank
did
you for
I? I'm like,
letting me
wow, that
know.
was so long ago. But I think I did pick up that this was going to be like long term. I don't think I like completely knew that we would probably get married until before we bought the house. I think maybe
Oh,
like
okay.
while living in the basement, that like year and a half before we started looking at apartments when we decide to do the house, that's when I was like, okay, I think we're like this is
This is
probably
it.
end game. Yeah. You know?
What does that feel like for you? Like, because I
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of different for everyone. What
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
feel like?
I think like, well, it's a tough one because when we like first started talking and dating, like our first date, we went to Docks right here in Dyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I showed up like late because I'm Mexican. We always show up
Girl,
late. I was
it's
like an
Mexican
hour
time.
late,
Sorry. Oh my
and
god, an
I
hour?
know, I know.
Oh my god.
I was like running errands, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I'm
And
here
so
though.
yeah, so I showed up. We were there, I think, till they closed. We ended up like having such a heart to heart. Like I cried.
Wow. On your
Yeah,
first
on
date?
the first date. And so I think we had another date like 2 days later. And then, like, in that moment, I was just like, the conversations we had and like our perception, his perception of how the way he thinks and the way I think, just like was so like intriguing to me. I was like, I love this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh my gosh. How did you guys like meet? Like what?
Yeah. So crazy story. We actually met when I was in seventh grade, seventh, eighth grade. Yeah.
So you
So
guys have known each other like for a while.
we've known each other. Yeah. So we both went to Bishop Knoll, and
Okay.
so I had like a best friend at the time, and she was like dating him, like middle school, like so I was
This is
we
tea.
yeah we were in eighth grade and he was like a freshman, and so I remember like meeting him through her and being like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, your boyfriend, he's kind of lame, like he has like a Shark Boy haircut, and
Stop.
like so like I knew who he was, but I never talked to him.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to when I was in college, I had heard about the accident his brother had. So
Mhm.
it was a pretty big deal, like
Yeah.
in the Bishop Knoll community. And at that time, her friend was talking to him, and so she had kind of told me about what happened. But we started originally talking because I came home for fall break,
Mhm.
senior year of college, and we ran into each other at Growlers.
Oh my
I know.
gosh. Were
And
you
so,
just like, "Oh, brother."
yeah, so I saw him and he was like, "Oh, do you want to dance?" And I was like, "If you buy me a shot." And so
Stop.
we took a breakfast shot. And since he bought me the shot, he was like, "Can I get your number?" And I was like, "You can get my Snapchat."
I love
Yeah.
it. Playing hard
So
again. You
it was
better.
actually pretty funny because I just like did not expect to run into him. But honestly,
No.
I think that's why we were supposed to meet when like I was younger, because if he was a stranger, I would have never let a stranger buy me a shot.
Yeah,
You
I think
know?
I'm the same way. You
Yeah,
never
I would have been like,
know.
"Oh, okay, I don't know who you are." And like I feel like if you're buying me something, you're going to want something in return.
Yes.
But because
Always.
he bought me because I knew who he was, like I didn't know him, but I knew of him, and like
It's different,
I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." Like
I
we
guess.
kind of like know the same people, so like yeah, sure, buy
That's
me
so
a shot.
cute.
So
I love
yeah, it
that.
was crazy.
Oh my gosh. So again, you guys have known each other for a while.
Mm-hmm.
How was there a transition like when you got married? Like in your
Yeah.
dynamic? Do you feel any
Hmm.
different?
Yes and no. Because like we started dating when I was 21. So like
Oh my gosh.
yeah, like that was like we have definitely evolved in like who we are as people, who we are as like a couple, like when we first started dating, like I was like going to the club 5, 6 days a
You were
week.
in your best life. You were
Literally,
it was
like
city girl era.
I was out and about, and then it went to like hustle grind culture
Yeah.
like after college, to being like super broke and like eating, like I worked at this hotel in Boston,
Oh my
and they would like
gosh.
feed us, and I would literally make that one meal last me all day. So like we've been through so many stages in life together. So I just think that like the stage from when we met versus the stage we're at now is like very different, but it was cool because we got to like grow together,
You grew
you
up
know?
together
Yeah,
into adults.
exactly. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
beautiful. And what are the differences you've seen in your dynamic since you've gotten married now?
Mm,
If
hmm.
there are any, because I
Yeah,
feel like it'd be a
yeah.
little hard for it to be drastic,
Yeah,
you
I don't
know?
know if there's like such big changes. I'm trying to think. I think I don't know. I don't know if there's any big ones,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel this, they always ask you, like, when you get married, do you guys feel any different?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say more of like a mental thing than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel like we're grown now? Like,
I just feel like this is my husband. Like I am his wife. I'm like somebody's whole fucking wife.
I feel that.
You know what
It's
I'm
a crazy.
saying?
Did you ever feel like weird when you were like, oh, this is my husband at
Oh my
first?
god, I still feel weird. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then I feel like such an adult, but it's like, like this is what I said when I first got married, probably like fall. So we got married in August. I'm going to say like October, like November. I feel like I just glow differently. Like I feel like you might get this reference, but like how like you're in your senora era and
Yes,
not
girl.
like the like old
Yes.
senoras with the aprons, but like the baddie slicked back
Yeah,
hair,
girl.
earrings, like jewelry.
100%.
Like I feel like I'm thriving
Like,
in
this
that
is
era.
my house.
Yeah, like this is my house and like that's my man. And
Yes.
like I definitely try to be like a little I don't know, like dress like I'm 30 or dress like a wife
You're
or
grown.
yeah.
Yes.
So I
I know
think
exactly
I
what you
think
mean.
that was kind of more of the shift for me of like I want to like be also like I don't know, more put together in a way, but also be more of a caretaker, take care of my house, cook for him, make sure like, I'm doing my part as a wife to just like support my man,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes, 100%. I feel the exact same way,
Yeah.
especially when we moved to our own house.
Yeah.
Like how you said, I'm cooking, I'm the one cleaning. Before you got here, I was
Yeah.
cleaning. I was putting on some Vicente Fernandez.
I love
Like, it was
it.
getting real Mexican in here,
Yes.
girl.
No, I
Like,
love
but
it.
it is kind of like I have had moments throughout my adulthood where I'm like,
Mhm.
whoa, like this, I'm grown, like this
Yeah.
is mine. Like,
Yeah.
it's very weird. Have you, since you guys have been together for so long and living
Mhm.
together for
Yeah.
now a while, are there moments in your life where you have seen maybe like your childhood, maybe what you saw between your parents or vice
Mhm.
versa between him, like
Sure.
saw dynamics or patterns that maybe have affected yourself in the way that you function in your partnership?
Sure. Yeah, I would say so. So my parents got divorced like when I was younger, so I definitely think um it's so crazy to think about, but I like didn't really grow up in a household with like two parents that like loved each other.
Yeah.
So living with his parents was my first time living with a married couple. And so it was very eye-opening to me to be like especially like those 3 years, like it was I remember vividly having conversations with his mom and being like, "This is different," like, "I'm not used to this," like,
Wow.
and that was just something I wasn't used to because I didn't grow up in a married household, you
It
know?
is very weird seeing like love, like I feel
Yeah,
the
or
same
just like
way.
the day-to-day of like being in a marriage.
Partnership.
Yeah. It's not because like my version of it was like what you would see in the movies. And then
Hmm.
real life is not
It's not.
it's not like that, like it's not all like singing and butterflies and romantic fancy dinners. Sometimes it's very like simple
Yeah.
day-to-day tasks, doing the tasks together or like
Pouring yourself a coffee, like for me, like,
yeah.
oh, I got you a coffee, or it is very weird.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got you a chocolate from the gas station because it's your favorite. Like,
Yeah.
little things like that are very strange. I ask you that because now I'm only 26, but I've
Uh-huh.
been married since I was
Oh
22.
my gosh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got married really, really young, and I mean, we're the same. He's a couple months older than I am,
Yeah.
but we essentially, like you said, like we grew up together.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of my relationship, my parents are together, but they weren't like the best example.
Sorry, I'm
God
getting
bless them.
comfortable.
No, get comfortable, girl. They weren't the best example for
Sure.
like a marriage, and that sounds
Yeah.
horrible, but
No,
like,
that's okay.
their dynamic just kind of was in front of us.
Yeah.
And so when I got married, I noticed myself like having a lot of patterns where but I was very self-aware. Like,
Mhm.
if I would react, I'd kind of be like, "Ooh, that was my mom," like, or
Yeah.
why am I acting like this? Like,
Mhm.
so it did kind of teach me a lot about myself and teach me opened my eyes on like the kind of wife I want to be, and maybe even like
Yeah.
the mother I want to be one day, because you know it's a give and a take, what you want to
Mhm.
take from what you saw and what you want to leave.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where you in your relationship you were like, okay, I need to unlearn this?
Oh my gosh, so many times.
Yeah.
Like so many times, girl. I feel like it's so common nowadays to go in and out of therapy to like work on
Yes.
yourself, and I am such a firm believer that everybody should go to therapy.
Same.
I think therapy is something that should be a regular for people. Like, and I love that so many people in my community and like my what is it, like my network, my group of friends like all go to therapy
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I am learning how to unlearn and like learning how to like cope with things. And yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is there like one thing that you can pinpoint where you were just like, I have to work through this. Like
Mm,
I have to heal this part for me to
sure.
function.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's so many, but I'm trying to think of like one that really like stands out.
Yeah.
I um yeah, I don't really know too much. I'm
No.
trying to think. There's one like that's like top of mind I could share. I think that like my mom sometimes would get like very angry and yell a lot. And so I would notice sometimes when I got really angry, I would use like I would yell or like raise my voice. And I think those were like
Mm.
big patterns of like understanding how to communicate, understanding how to like move forward when I am feeling a certain way and how to properly vocalize that.
That is such a powerful one. Now that you mentioned communication,
Mhm.
um, I mean, my family, Mexicans, man, we just
Yeah.
don't communicate well. Like it's
No.
very loud,
Mhm.
or the communication just doesn't flow. Like they take it they take it in a different way that you meant it, or there
Mhm.
might be sensitivity,
Yeah.
or because I think first gen, you know, because you technically are,
Yeah.
um first gen too, I feel like we are so much more advanced when it comes to like we go to therapy and we
Mhm.
go and we talk to our friends about our feelings. And so I think when it comes to speaking with our family, like for me, especially for me, like my 26 years big of age, you know, like
Yeah.
my family's barely getting there, like barely.
Mhm.
But growing up, like there wasn't any communication. There wasn't any I'm sorry's. There wasn't
No.
any like I'd never saw like I saw my parents have blowout fights,
Yeah.
but I never saw how they made up.
Yeah.
We were never in the room when they would make up. They would
Yeah.
just kind of like pop up and okay, we're good now, you know?
Sure.
So when it came to my relationships,
Yeah.
my first couple of relationships, man, like they were
Yeah.
toxic, and it
Yeah.
was only because I just I just didn't know how to communicate. And
Yeah.
so now in my marriage, I wanted to be, when I got into this relationship
Mhm.
specifically, I wanted to be very intentional
Mhm.
in the way that I communicated, because I knew right away that this was going to be my husband. And I
Yeah.
think I mean we got married in 8 months.
Yeah.
It was fast. And
Yeah.
so we were very intentional coming from our household. His family functions way differently than I do.
Mhm.
His parents have been together since they were in high school,
Oh
and they
wow.
are kind of how you said about your husband's
Yeah.
family. It's a very different dynamic. They're
Mhm.
from the south as
Yeah.
well, so they function very differently.
Sure.
And so getting to see that,
Mhm.
like I had never met a guy that was like at my age, 21, everyone wants to party, everyone wants to be on the streets, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no one
Yeah.
trying to settle
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wanted to be a wife. Like,
Sure.
and so I that's why I was like spooking all these guys away.
Mhm.
Obviously, we were
Yeah.
children, you know.
Uh-huh.
But my husband, when I got with him, it was very different. Like instantly, I too knew him in high school.
Okay,
So we
nice.
knew each other.
Yeah.
And he would always tell me like, oh, I want a relationship like my parents. Like my parents, I
Oh,
always have
yeah.
wanted that. Like, you know, I saw
Mhm.
them, they've been together forever, they function together, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so I was like, whoa, you know, that's
Yeah.
really weird. But
Yeah.
I did in the beginning because I wanted to be intentional about it being, this is going to be a healthy relationship. Like
Mhm.
we are going to function differently.
Mhm.
I tried to be very intentional, and it was really difficult for me at first to learn healthy communication,
Yeah.
because I just don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And we were figuring it out together.
Mhm.
Was there ever a moment in your relationship stages where you
Mhm.
also felt like I need to learn healthy communication, or did he function differently?
Yeah, oh my gosh, for so many things, you know what I mean? Like, um, wow, I don't even know how many to like touch on, but yeah, so I think a lot of our upbringing was very different, and just like the way we view relationships was very different.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. He didn't necessarily want a relationship like his parents, but one like his aunt and uncle.
Oh,
Yeah, those are like his people. Like those are the people that he admires. He really wants a relationship like them.
that's
Um,
beautiful.
he's a very like big acts of service person. So like it was so different for me because like he grew up in a household where his dad does all the cooking and cleaning. His mom doesn't cook or clean, you know.
Interesting.
And I grew up in a household where my mom did some cooking and cleaning, but my mom drank a lot.
Hmm.
So it was like very known between my sister and I, like, when like mom gets home, if you know you smell it or you come around her, you can tell when she's been drinking. It was just like
Yeah.
stay out of her way. And so I think for me, like growing up, I pretty much like raised my sister. Like
Wow. How many siblings do you have?
I just have one,
Are you
and
the
so I
oldest?
am the oldest.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So I
gosh.
feel like I like kind of raised my sister. So it was very different, I would say, in our relationship because I feel like I raised my sister to an extent. So like I like cooked for her very regularly. Like I always took kind of like care of her, checked up on her, did all like some stuff. And he
Wow.
never really had that kind of dynamic with his brother. Um
So was he kind of like, this is odd? Did he
yeah,
ever question, like, why are you?
he just it was like when we moved into the house, it was like kind of like a lot of that trauma. I don't say trauma, that's kind of a tough word to say,
It's
but like
patterns, the
those patterns
patterns.
kind of got brought up. So like when I started cooking, when we started like living in the house, he was like, I've never seen you cook this food. You know, it's so good. It's some of the best food I've ever had. When did you
Oh.
like cook this? And I was like, for my sister growing up. And then like she would come over and be like, yeah, Selena would make this for us like once a week when I was like in middle school. And he was
Wow.
like, what? You know? So I think like those were I don't want to say like I don't want to say necessarily like patterns I had to unlearn, but like that's when I really kind of started to realize like, oh, I had a very different upbringing than like he did
Yeah.
because I grew up a lot like kind of just watching over my sister, making sure she was good, making sure I was like kind of taking care of her. And he really enjoyed his life of just being a kid because his mom and
He
dad kind
got
of
to
took
be a
care.
kid.
Yeah.
What is the age difference between you and your sister?
Yeah, we're 5 years apart.
Oh my gosh. So it's the
Yeah.
same as me and my sister.
Wow. Are you the
And
oldest or are you the
I'm the
youngest?
middle child.
Okay,
So my
gotcha.
sister's 32
Okay, gotcha.
and my little brother, we're 8 years apart.
Wow.
He's 18.
Oh my gosh, he's a
But
baby.
he's a baby, but like
Yeah.
you, my sister, like the normal Mexican family,
Yeah.
kind of was like the caretaker in a
Yeah.
way because my mom, we didn't have much money growing up, and so
Mhm.
she always found like side hustles. Like if my
Mhm.
dad was paying the bills, she was paying for the food and maybe
Sure.
our essentials, you know.
Yeah.
So she was doing nails, she was selling plants, like she was always busy, she was always
Yeah.
hustling. So she was like, you gotta, sorry, like you gotta take care of your
Figure it
siblings.
out.
And
Yeah.
I do feel like it caused a lot of resentment between my sister and her
Yeah.
because she didn't feel like, when I talked to her,
Mhm.
um it almost seems like she didn't feel like she got to be a kid, like
Yeah.
she was expected to be perfect almost.
Sure.
Was there a time within you and your sister
Mhm.
in your dynamic where you felt like resentful because you had to be in that position, or were you proud to be the caretaker for her?
I think when I was younger, like really younger, I think resentful because I always had these memories of like before my sister coming around or before she was born, them just being really happy and them like never really like arguing my
Yeah.
parents. And then I remember my sister coming in the picture, and then like that was kind of like when our family kind of started to dwindle apart,
Really?
was because my parents separated when she was like 3. Yeah, so it was like she was pretty
Wow.
young. And then like it was just a really tough time because we lived in Texas at the time. And so I lived in Texas from when I was like 1 to like 12. And
Okay.
so
Wait, is this why your name's Selena?
no,
Okay.
but that would be crazy.
I had
But
to
yeah,
ask.
but
I had to
yeah,
ask.
I mean, technically yes, because I
Okay.
was named after her.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, so we lived in Texas, and my sister was born in Texas, and my dad was just like struggling to like keep a good paying job out there, and his old boss up here had called him and was like, how much money do I need to pay you to come back? And
Wow.
my mom didn't want to leave, and her parents had moved out there, her siblings were out there, we were out there, so my dad moved back up here, which is where they're originally from.
Yeah.
And he worked up here and would like send my mom money and would come down to visit occasionally, and they probably did that for like 3 years. So I want to say in like
Wow.
third grade, third, fourth grade. And then we moved back right when I came into seventh grade.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
when we all moved up here, um, it was just like, I think maybe we lived together for a year, and then my dad moved back out. And so they just
Wow.
like did not get along. It was really bad. Like they argued a lot, and like they would get into really like screaming arguments where it even got physical
Yeah.
sometimes, and like they were very open about like showing that type of relationship to us. And so in those times, like my dad would usually leave and go to the bar, and then my mom would just like go to the room and cry and like have a bottle of
Oh, it's so
wine.
hard.
And so that was pretty much like seventh, eighth grade. And then she ended up moving into a new spot because originally the place she had moved in was an apartment building that my dad's family owned.
Yeah.
And so she got her own place and we lived there. And I like don't like super remember that 'cause I think it was like sophomore year. And it was kind of tough because like that's when I was like in my teenage years, me
I
and my
was just
mom.
gonna say, that's already a hard time for you.
Yeah, me and my mom, like I had a boyfriend, and like I just didn't want anything to do with my mom, and I just didn't really like her. I think a lot of the times like I just viewed a lot of why my dad left for because of her, because like I feel like she just like yelled at him, and like I always saw this like mean and aggressive side
Yeah.
of her, and I felt like
You're the
she
reason.
pushed him away. And so I think there was like some resentment there, but then also like vice versa. I think me and my dad have a really, really close relationship.
Mm.
And I think she almost like at a times like resented me because of that, because, you know, he would
Wow.
like call, he would come pick me up, he would like spend time with me, want to see me. And she just felt like my dad always picked me over her, or that like,
Oh, that's so
um,
hard.
yeah, so it was kind of like a weird dynamic. And then in high school is when her and I started getting pretty physical. And then I want to say towards the end of high school, I moved out and moved in with my dad.
Oh, wow, it was that bad.
Yeah.
Did your sister stay with your mom?
My sister stayed with my mom, so it's so crazy because we both grew up in the same household, but we have such different perspectives. So for her, she never remembers my dad being there because he left
Right.
when she was like
It's
3.
her norm.
She only knows that mom was the one who stood around and did the best that she could.
So her
But
opinion and experience is so much different than
But
yours.
whereas my dad, she's like, he was never there. Like, where was he at? And like, you know, my dad was very notoriously known for like going to the bar. He loves to spend his time at the bar. He's at the bar
Yeah.
with all his friends. That's like what he does.
Yeah.
And then it was, kind of vice versa, where my mom would drink at home and get really violent, get very aggressive,
Yeah.
and, take that out on me and my sister a lot of like, I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to be associated
Oh,
with this. I just want to come home from work, open up a bottle of wine, and be by
and
myself.
that's it. Wow. I can relate in a lot of ways
Sure.
because my dad was the alcoholic, like
Yeah.
very, very badly. And it did cause a lot of issues within our relationship because
Yeah.
they were very open about it. Like
Mhm.
I think they also now as an adult, like, and I'm almost positive. I'm about to touch on this with you, but I'm almost
Yeah.
positive that as an adult now, living an adult life with
Mhm.
adult stress and bills,
Yeah.
looking back, I kind of understand him in a way.
Mhm.
because we didn't have money. We
Mhm.
were in a whole new country. They
Yeah.
were just trying to make it.
Yeah.
And my parents, I mean, like you, my little brother was born in 2007,
Mhm.
and after my mom went through a lot of miscarriages, they really wanted
Mm.
like a boy, and so
Yeah.
they finally stuck, at 40. My mom
Mhm.
had my brother, and it changed the family dynamic completely because now we had a baby, and having babies is really expensive and more
Yeah.
expensive when you don't have papers on top
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So as an adult now, and I look back on that dynamic, I can see like my dad was probably so stressed,
Mhm.
and my mom is very strong, like personality wise,
Yeah.
like
Girl
she will
felt
tell you
that.
about yourself, kind of
Yeah.
thing, and very like exigente kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
she expects perfection, and obviously like I'm sure he probably felt like, oh, nothing I do is good enough, or
Sure.
so, him too, he would go out and drink and disappear, and she'd blow
Mhm.
everyone's phone up, and then he'd show
Yeah.
up, and then it
Yeah,
was like a
yeah.
screaming match. And when I
Mhm.
was little, my dad was like my best friend, and
Yeah.
so when that dynamic started happening, like it changed my perspective a lot. It made me be very resentful, and
Mhm.
it made me be very resentful towards my brother,
Okay, yeah.
because I was like, oh, since you showed up, like all these problems showed up too, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And so I had to work through that.
Mhm.
But I guess now, after going to therapy for so long, because also in my teen years, I mean, there was one day where I threw my dad out of my house because
Oh, yeah.
I started getting very protective of my mom,
Mhm.
and my sister moved
Yeah.
out immediately at 18 because
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
she had
yeah.
the same problems with her, because,
Mhm.
she would be left alone with all these responsibilities.
Mhm.
She wasn't really a person. She had to like hustle.
Yeah.
But now, after going through so many years of therapy,
Yeah.
I get to see like they they were doing the best that they could.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I'm really stressed or having like a season of like life just throwing things at me, I
Mhm.
really am like, I get it now. Like I
Yeah.
could use a beer. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. So
Of
it
course.
does help me understand it a little bit.
Mhm.
Now, would I do that? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think when I become a mother, I want to be very intentional in a lot of ways, and that's
Mhm.
why I go to therapy to try and be the best version that I
Yeah.
can. Do you feel like now, as an adult,
Mhm.
looking back, on your relationship with your mom, or
Mhm.
your family dynamic growing up, do you see it in a different light, like you took off
Oh,
different glasses?
100%. Yeah. I think that the way that my parents' life turned out is not the way they expected it to, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it is what they wanted, and I think that my dad did the best that he could, but um he probably learned from his dad, like going to the bar, especially in like Mexican traditions,
Yep.
Mexican culture.
You
That's
just
like
drink.
that's just normal to them. And my dad still goes to the bar like almost every day today. Like he
Wow.
goes a few times a week. And so that's it's interesting because being with my husband, I've learned like, oh, it's actually kind of like not normal to go to the bar every day,
Like
like,
me.
to have
Yeah.
a drink like that. But I have learned that that's who he is and I have to accept him for who he is. I can't change him.
Yeah.
And then kind of same with my mom. Like my mom, I think holds like a lot of like sadness. I think she had a tough like upbringing and I think she did the best that she could. And I think at the end of the day, my parents like loved the idea of having a kid, but then when it came down to it, it wasn't exactly what they thought. Like my
Yeah.
mom is very upfront, very vocal, very, say it how it is. And, she's told me and my sister to our face, like, if I could do it again, like, I wouldn't.
That's so heartbreaking.
It was in the moment, but I appreciated the honesty because
Yeah.
to me, it was like, thanks for admitting it, like, thanks
Because you
for,
probably were like, I
yeah,
knew it
I was like,
already.
I knew that you didn't like being a mom. Like, you didn't want to do it. And so it was just like interesting to hear her say that. But then, like, full circle moment. So, my sister, she actually still lives with my mom
Okay.
and her and my mom kind of like when I lived with my mom, they get into pretty bad arguments sometimes. Like it's like Like I remember one time I was at Omni still,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working, I was coaching and everything, and my husband is blowing up my phone on my Apple Watch, and I'm like, he knows I'm working, he knows like I'm in the middle of instructing, like why is he calling me? And I like go in the back really quick, like call him, and he's like, hey, your sister is had something happen, you need to call her. So I call her. Her and my mom got into it. My mom was like throwing all of her stuff outside
Oh
the
my
door and was like,
gosh.
I'm tired of being your mom. Get out of my house. And at this point, my sister was in high school still. So we had to, like, I left work, went to go pick her up. And this was like, I don't know, 2019, maybe
Yeah.
2019, 2021, sometime in that era. And since then, like every so often they do get in arguments, you know? And it's unfortunate because now I'm on the outside, you know? Like I see the arguments
Oh.
and I am almost that safe space that she can lean on, come to, you know.
Yeah.
Um Full circle moment completely was they actually just got into it pretty badly in October and she moved in with us. So
Oh,
yeah, so
really?
my little sister lives with us. So
Oh
it
my
was, yeah, it
gosh.
was crazy because, you know, we just got married in August and I was
That's
like,
what I
oh
was
my
about to
God,
say. Like, you
yeah,
just
like
got to be by yourself, too. Like,
we just got married. And so I was like, my husband had been there when me and my mom would get into it, and he had seen the situations when my sister and my mom would get into it.
yeah.
So he was like, if she wants to live with us, I rather her live with us. I want her to know that the door is always open. This is a safe place
Oh,
for her. Um, and so we sat down and told her like there's a room here. You're welcome to stay there. Like we're not charging you
yeah.
rent.
Oh my
Um
gosh, Selena.
Mason's
Wow.
family never charged me rent, and so that was like our
Paying
pass
it
it forward.
forward.
I'm not gonna get emotional,
It's
but
okay. Take your time.
it was a good moment, you know, because um I'm very blessed to have a husband that like is open to like letting my family
Yeah.
just have like really open arms. So um he was 100% supportive of it, and like she's been living with us since October, and you know it's kind of the same thing as that. She was like, I'm only gonna be here for like a month or two, and
Yeah. Yeah. Surprise!
you
I'm
know
living with
it's
you full time, girl.
and so now we're what is it, May, and so um you can just tell being around her, she's not as stressed. She's not as like, you
Wow.
know, like upset, angry, on edge, and like she's thriving, I feel like. She has a boyfriend and they're talking about moving out and getting their own place. And what I we tell her is like, um, when you're ready, you move out when you're ready. Nobody's kicking you out. I don't want you to feel like you have to run
Oh, that's
to
beautiful.
live with him or to get your own place with him. I want you to move out and move in with him because you are fully ready.
Yeah, you're capable and
Yeah,
you're
and I
at a
was
good
like,
place.
don't do it just because you want your own place. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is
yeah.
so beautiful. Do you feel like now, because you have gone to therapy and
Yeah.
you've worked so much through your childhood,
Mhm.
do you feel like now your relationship with your sister, like within your own healing, you are also helping her heal?
Um Sometimes yes and sometimes no. I think it's hard because like I am the sister and I try not to be the mom.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like it's very interesting because it's almost like deja vu. So like she's living with me and my husband right now, and that's her first time living with a married couple. And like, you know, she sees sometimes when we bicker and
Yeah.
like, you know, she sees sometimes when like, you know, he does the dishes and I do the cooking and she's like, "Oh, like that's you guys always do it that way." And I was like, well, yeah, because I usually cook and he does the
Just
dishes.
we're a
It's
team.
yeah, you know, we're a
Yeah.
team. And so she is starting to pick up a lot on like what marriage is like and what a healthy relationship is like. Like this is kind of a funny one. So uh we since she's living with us, she was like, I forgot how it got brought up, but I was like, oh, you know, sometimes there are situations when, you know, you're in the doghouse
Mhm.
And she was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, when you're like in a relationship sometimes, like you're in the doghouse, it's like you did something bad, but not like bad where you're gonna like get a divorce or you're
And you're
mad at each
leaving.
other.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like you fucked up on something.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I've never heard of this. Like, can you give me an example on this? And so I was like, okay, I was like, um Mason forgot to pull out the meat when I got home from
Oh
work.
no,
And I was
Mason.
like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I'm mad and I'm annoyed, but like, we're not gonna
It's
get,
not,
it's
yeah.
not the end of the world, but like,
It's
I'm
annoying.
mad. Yeah. And so she's starting to like pick up on that, like, dynamic of like almost like play fighting, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Of
Yes.
like arguing, but not really arguing, but kind of arguing. Um, and realize that like those kind of situations happen and yet they're part of a relationship.
Yes. And as a little sister,
Mhm.
like I told you, I didn't really have a good example of a
Yeah.
marriage. But my sister got married when she was 19, and I got to spend. She moved to LA
Yeah.
when she graduated high school. She was like, "See ya."
Yeah.
And when she got married, her and her husband got their own place,
Mhm.
and I got to spend 3 summers, like during high school, like every
Yeah.
summer,
Oh,
I'd
that's so
go spend
nice.
with them. And they were such a good example.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you, like as a little sister, like from a little sister's perspective,
Yeah.
how helpful it was for me
Mhm.
to see how they functioned, because
Yeah.
I was with them like a month and a half on end. Like I became part of the dynamic,
Yeah.
and how they functioned, how they fought, how
Mhm.
they made up,
Yeah.
how much he loved her. Like it was a very eye-opening experience for me. And when super side note, but when she was in
Yeah.
high school and had her boyfriends, my
Mhm.
mom was very, very strict on her.
Mhm.
And the only way she got to go on a date was if I was there.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
was
My
like,
fam did the same thing.
yes, you needed a
Yeah.
chaperone. So I was so happy. So I always got to see, before I had my own boyfriends,
Mhm.
her dynamics with her boyfriends. And I remember very vividly, like in my high school relationship, being intentional, like my sister, because I was like, oh, I saw how her boyfriends acted and how she acted. Like this is how I act.
Mhm.
So when it came to like a healthy relationship and she got married, I remember vividly being like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
And now they've been married for 10 years.
Mhm.
And when I talk about marriage with her, I get to ask her questions like, how did you guys does this ever happen for you? Or how did
Mhm.
you guys get through this kind of fight? Or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
And it's so, I mean, I just got to spend time with them last month again since
Yeah.
high school, like
Yeah.
that. And just seeing them, how they function, it's so important. Like,
Yeah.
it's so important, especially because little sisters do look up to our older
Yeah.
sisters. And we do put you guys on a pedestal, and especially coming from such a tumultuous like household and seeing how
Mhm.
you've made it out and how you've created your life, it is
Yeah.
such a beautiful experience to be like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like this is what I want. It's such, I don't know why I'm getting emotional.
It's
It's like the residue
okay.
girl.
No.
It's like I have hope,
Mhm.
like that it can work out,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So, oh my gosh,
It's
it's so weird. I don't know what it
okay. It's
is.
okay. Thanks for being vulnerable with me.
I know, girl. Let's scream. Okay, let's sit. I love it. I love to cry. I love crying. Let's release, girl. So, Selena, do you think now that you're at this point in your life after overcoming so much,
Yeah.
just childhoods are so imprinting like on
Yeah.
us, right?
Uh-huh.
What does your relationship look like with your mom now?
Yeah, so we don't really talk too much anymore, honestly. Like she came to my wedding and like I've invited her like over to some family functions. Like my husband and I host a lot. So
Oh my gosh, I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, we're very like family oriented. So like I didn't realize how family oriented I was until I like got older. I probably till like the past year or two.
Really?
But like I thought it was normal that like every other weekend we're with his family one weekend and then my family the next weekend,
Yeah.
and that's not how people usually function all the
Yeah.
time. Um but like whenever we had like uh the family over for the first Bears home opener.
Oh my gosh, wow.
And she didn't come, and then we rented out like the top floor Windy City Social for my husband's birthday,
Wow, I
and we
love
did
Windy
like a
City.
Halloween like
Yeah.
themed party. It was so cool. Yeah, she didn't come to that one either, and then we invited her to the Super Bowl and she didn't come. So
What do you
um
feel? Do you feel anything that she doesn't show
I
up?
no, I think I was like a little surprised, because I was like, okay, I invited you to the wedding. Like,
Have there been moments between like the last couple of years where
mhm,
you have tried to like reach out and like maybe
mhm.
repair or create a relationship and she hasn't been receptive?
Maybe not like one on one for us to do anything. I think right now there's probably some bitterness. She was like upset at the wedding.
Really?
Yeah, she was pretty upset and like made it very vocal to a lot of people at the wedding about how she was upset. So I think she was upset about that. And then now that my sister moved out of her house and is living with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just feel like she's really upset to some extent. And I'm at this point where it's like, I'm not responsible for your happiness.
Exactly.
And, then I like think, I'm like, man, what would my life have been like if like my mom was just happy? How would that dynamic be? But I try to just remember like who I am as a person and the impact I have on like the rest of my family, Mason's family,
Yeah.
and how just like leading by that way. Like family still does mean a lot to me. And I think it's very interesting though when I tell people I don't have a good relationship with my mom because it seems so crazy and so foreign to people.
Because it's your mom.
Yeah, but like me and my dad are like best friends. Like
I love
we
that.
talk every day, probably like twice a day. I see him probably once a week. Um and that's like normal to me,
Yeah.
like seeing him, talking to him, chatting with him. Like he'll call me and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab lunch. You want to come?" I'm like, "Hell yeah. Okay, tell me where to meet you."
Pulling up right
Like,
now.
yeah, exactly. Or I'll be like, "Hey, I gotta go run some errands. You want to come with me?" And he'll be like, "Okay, yeah, let me get dressed." Like that type of almost like a mom daughter
Yeah.
relationship is like what I have with my dad.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's so crazy to me because that to me is normal. But like it's so crazy because like being with my husband, he is like, I wish when like if we have a daughter that I have that type of relationship where,
Oh, that's
like
beautiful.
the way you and your dad interact is like
It.
it. And I guess I never really thought of that, but as I've gotten older, like I don't really go to the bar very often unless it's like, out to eat with my husband and then we have like a few drinks, or if I do like, a group outing at like a bar, but like I don't go to the bar as often.
Yeah.
But when I do, I usually go with my dad.
Wow.
And like I didn't realize how that's like not normal. And so I go to flights a lot. That's like
Mm-hmm.
the bar by my house we go to a
Yeah.
lot. And the owner, the bartenders, like they know me and my dad. Like
You're
they
regular
we
there,
are, I don't want to say we're regulars,
but they
but
know you.
yeah, like because like for the Bears game we usually go there, and then whenever we have um like after party events, like after the wedding, we had like an after party
Oh my
there.
gosh, how
Um
fun!
that like that dynamic sticks so much. So side comment, but
Yeah.
Pulse Pilates, do you keep up with her?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I
so
do.
she used to be a bartender at Flights.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and
No
so
way!
when I had ran into her, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know you. Like,
Yeah.
you used to be the bartender at Flights." And she was like, "Yeah, where's your dad at?" And I was like,
No
because they're
way!
always so associated with like the two of us being together,
Oh my
And like the
gosh.
owner Dan, like he's always like, if my dad's there, he's like, where's your daughter at? And vice versa. If I'm there, they're asking where he's at. And then like some of the regulars are there, like are like, I think it's so cool that you just come to the bar together. And it's
I
like
love that.
nothing like crazy really happens. It's usually like we go to watch the Bears game, get some food, stuff like that.
Cheers,
um
your spot.
yeah, that's just like our spot. But it's so crazy that like talking to like other people, they're like, I think it's so cool that you're associated with like always being with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but like, yeah, I guess some people just don't think of that dynamic.
Right. No, it's 100%. Now, I guess because I've had you here forever,
No, you're okay.
where be super side note, I
Yeah.
guess. to my last and final question.
Sure.
So I even though I've gone through so much therapy, like I've been in
Mhm.
therapy since I was 15, so about
Yeah.
10 years,
Mhm.
for my childhood issues and, dynamics, whatever, and things have that come up. I have never actually sat down with my dad
Mhm.
and talked about what went on, like what I saw, or
Sure.
I've never had like a full-on conversation with him. And when
Mhm.
I got married, Peyton actually, I kind of he kind of got thrown into the flame because when my sister moved
Yeah.
out, I kind of became the older sister and
Yeah.
being in charge of everything. And because I was the only one that's gone to therapy,
Mhm.
everyone kind of fell back on me to kind of repair the family. So I
Mhm.
started being like the mediator, even
Yeah.
though I'm the kid, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But Peyton, he got to know my dad pretty quickly, and I remember, because my husband is white, my parents
Yeah.
only speak Spanish, I
Mhm.
would, when he was trying to get to know my dad, I was translating between them, and we were getting to know my dad together.
Yeah.
Like the questions that he was asking him, like I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I didn't know that."
Mhm.
So whatever. The point is, there was a time where Peyton was like, "Your dad is getting older, you never know what can happen, and you
Mhm.
still haven't had really like a conversation with him. Like
Yeah.
you need to have a conversation eventually." And even now I still haven't done it.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, like, have you done that yourself? Like, have you talked to her about what went on?
No. No, I don't think so. I feel like I've done a lot of like growing and developing and like trying to be the better person and like all that kind of stuff that I feel like opening up that door or trying to have an adult conversation with her, it will not get through to her.
It's not going to be what you want it to be.
No, I think at the end of the day, like she's going to, she's very traditional. Like I brought you into this world. I could easily take you out of this world. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
That is her perspective on the world and me. And she's the parent. I'm the kid. If you have any questions, go back to number one. I'm the
Wow.
parent.
Wow.
That is that dynamic. And so I don't think she'll ever see me as the adult that I am. So
Wow, even now,
yeah,
like it,
I don't think
wow.
so.
Do you feel okay with that?
I hmm. I think I've come to peace with kind of like our relationship. I
Yeah.
think sometimes I wish it was different, but I always remember that I've had the door open the whole time.
Yeah.
She just has never come through it. Like I invite her to things, I extend the invitation to her. Um it takes two people to tango.
Oh, 100%.
And so for me, I'm like,
Yeah.
if you don't want that relationship, then why am I gonna try to pour into that?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I
Mhm.
do think, like, for me, one of the biggest reasons why I haven't had a conversation
Yeah.
or opened that door,
Mhm.
um, is because I don't really know if I need to anymore.
Yeah.
Because I have worked through so much and
Mhm.
spoken to therapists about some and worked through, like, literally worked through
Yeah.
all of these memories and dynamics that
Mhm.
I do too. I feel like at peace, like being like, if we never have that conversation, I'm okay, because I don't hold resentment for you anymore. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. Like, I've worked through it, I've
Mhm.
healed on my own.
Of course.
Sure, there are a little bit of residuals that come up sometimes, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Or I do wish that I had a very close relationship with my dad,
Yeah.
especially like when it comes to being an adult,
Yeah.
like I would love to have been able to be like, "Hey, how do I function?" kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. Teach me about
I
life.
know, like, teach you about life. Like, I want to know you as an adult now.
Yeah.
I feel like I see them now as adults rather than my parents.
Yeah.
And that's been very helpful for me,
Mhm.
because I'm just like, okay, like I try to understand why you are the way you are. That way
Uh-huh.
I'm okay, you
Yeah.
know? So I guess my final question,
Yeah, of
like, so
course.
I could,
Yeah. No, it's okay.
the
I'm loving
yapping
this.
girl.
We going.
Um, what does safety look like for you now? Now that you've built your life, now that you've got your sister in your house, like, how do you
Yeah.
feel it? Like, what do you do now to bring yourself safety and peace to your nervous system? after going through all that
Mm.
for so many years?
I don't know. That's, you say that. You know what reminds me is when you had the launch of your podcast,
Mhm.
you had like that like questionnaire, the bingo questionnaire of like if the walls could talk in your house, what would they say?
Yeah.
And I said, I think they would say that there's a lot of love in my house.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so I think that like in my house, you can feel the love, you can feel the dynamics. It's so beautiful to see like my family, my husband's family, our friends all come together, our friends from different friends come together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what safety looks like is like, I feel like in my house growing up, I feel like I was really sad. I was really like lonely. I cried a lot. I didn't really feel love in my house, especially from like my mom. Um, and I feel like in my house, like everybody's family. And I try to
Oh my
everybody who comes into my
gosh.
house, like I want you to feel like family. I'm
You're the
gonna
house.
yeah. So that's something that I feel like is something I'll take with me.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I can't
Yeah,
I know it's very difficult to like bring up difficult conversations or
of
memories,
course.
and I can't thank you enough. Like you have such a powerful story.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having me. I'm so happy I got to be
Yes.
here. Happy to
Yes.
support
Oh
you.
my gosh. I hope that you get to be here again. I feel like
Yeah,
there's still so much that we could talk
of
about and
course. We could yaps forever.
forever. But this could go on for hours. Thank you so much, Selena.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, girl.
Thank
I
you. Thank you
loved
so much for
having
having
you.
me.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to tune in next Thursday. And yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
Bye.